and thank you for joining us. I'm Heather Myers. Here at CBS 8, we are working for you and getting to the bottom of problems you've asked about, and we're looking for solutions. We begin with potential changes in California schools. A bill right now is sitting on Governor Newsom's desk, and it would ban certain dyes in foods served in schools. CBS 8's Esmeralda Perez is working for you and spoke to a professor to learn how these dyes impact children in the classroom.
Governor Gavin Newsom has until the end of September to either sign or veto a bill that would not allow certain dyes in school foods. Working for you, I spoke with an expert and asked why it's necessary to take these chemicals off the menu. There could be changes to the ingredients used in school foods if Governor Newsom signs AB 2316, a bill prohibiting public schools in the state from offering food or drinks containing 6 food dyes, including red 40, yellow 5, and blue 1. But what type of foods carry these materials?
These materials are found in foods that really are not that healthy.
I spoke to UC Merced professor of public health, Dr. Asa Bradman, who says foods with artificial food coloring are usually highly refined and have minimal nutritional benefit, like pastries, candies, and cereals. That's why some people may think this is a step in the right direction, like high school senior Diego Perez.
It's like a good step in keeping our students and children healthier overall.
Healthier foods in schools is also important for Matthew Bowman, who is a father of 2.
I mean, if it's for making, stuff healthier for the kids, then I'm for it.
With AB 2316 heading to the governor for approval, there's findings over the possible impacts these type of dyes can have.
I think the scientific evidence supports the conclusion that there's an association between intake of many of these food dyes and changes in behavior.
Dr. Bradman is a co-author of a report with the California Office of Environmental Health Hazard Assessment, which links synthetic food dyes to potential hyperactivity and other neurobehavioral effects in some children.
Those behaviors are things like hyperactivity, inability to settle down, and that there may be actually some children, particularly those who already have some behavior challenges, they may be a bit vulnerable.
If the governor approves this bill, regulations will go into effect December 31st, 2027. Working for you, Esmeralda Perez, CBS 8.
People living in Southcrest are on edge as we approach another rainy season, but the city of San Diego says it is making progress on stormwater channel maintenance in flood-damaged neighborhoods. CBS 8's Brian White is working for you in Southcrest to see how the storm channel is looking there now.
Here at Southcrest Trails Park, city crews have been working all day to clear more brush and debris from the stormwater channel here. It's a big maintenance project. Let me show you some of the work they've been doing. Chainsaws and weed whackers, city workers removing vegetation by the truckload from the storm channel here along Beta Street.
They're out there with the hand tools, cutting off the vegetation. They're walking it to our vehicles so that they can be loaded in and dumped to a landfill.
Days after the flooding on January 22nd, the city cleared 18 miles of storm channel, removing more than 9,800 tons of debris. And since then, a lot of it has been growing back. So the city is back at it, trying to catch up with the overgrowth.
It's an invasive species that is aggressive. It grows back quickly. So it does require staff to be out here consistently and to remove that type of vegetation.
People in the area still traumatized by what happened in January.
Actually, I'm really scared. This is traumatized. This is a nightmare. We live with all my kids. We lost everything, 4 cars, furniture, bedroom set, everything.
Lucy Rios bought her house here in Southcrest 40 years ago. She says the water came up 5 feet on her house, and her 4-year-old granddaughter still worries about another flood.
For all my neighbors and renters, that they lost everything to keep us safe. This was a nightmare.
This is video CBS 8 took of the channel at National Avenue near South 41st Street in February after it was completely cleared out. And last Friday, our cameras captured how much brush has grown back since then. The city says without an emergency declaration, they're limited to hand tools at the moment, but they're hoping to have permits by October that will allow them to use mechanized equipment in the channel so they can do more aggressive maintenance. Lucy is happy to see crews out here in Southcrest, but she just hopes they stick with it and keep it clear.
Keep us our creek clean, take bushes out, and just keep everything clean so we don't get flooded and we don't get I don't get nightmares.
In Southcrest, working for you, Brian White, CBS 8.
Brian, thank you. CBS 8 is working for you to investigate more than $1 million in alleged financial losses for consumers and investors stemming from the bankruptcy of a local tiny home builder. CBS 8's David Gottfredson first reported on the tiny house company, and recently creditors attended a court hearing where the investment losses were detailed.
Do you think you're going to get your money back?
No.
Caroline Silva and her husband Jonathan were among the dozens of creditors who attended a virtual hearing Thursday in bankruptcy court on the failure of the tiny house company in San Diego County.
This is not a case of a bad company. This is just a bad case of someone who did not have any interest in actually building these homes.
The South Bay couple says they paid more than $64,000 and never received their house. For about an hour on Thursday, a court trustee questioned the company's former CEO, David Flake, under oath. CBS 8 was not allowed to record the hearing.
I was really impressed with her questioning as well, which made me feel like they will look into this further because the math wasn't adding up. He received a lot of money from a lot of different people, and he didn't spend as much.
During Thursday's hearing, Flake told the trustee the tiny house company collected more than $700,000 in deposits from customers in recent months and received more than $400,000 from investors before filing for bankruptcy. 11 customers never got their homes built, according to court testimony.
They showed us pictures of things they've done, and it looked really nice.
Last week, I interviewed Megan and Wyatt Borkland, a Hamul couple who lost more than $70,000.
This was supposed to be like our first house, basically, because we're expecting our first kid in October, and now we just don't know what to do.
He was supposed to help us make our life better.
Caroline Silva has been posting on social media for months about the company in an effort to get the word out, as the bankruptcy court will try and find out if there is any money left for the creditors. I reached out to the attorney for David Flake, but so far the former CEO has no comment for this report. Meantime, testimony in that bankruptcy hearing will continue on October 2nd. We'll keep working for you and let you know what happens. David Gottfredson, CBS 8.
David, thank you. There is growing frustration among RV owners in the Mission Bay area who have been ticketed daily by police. They argue that they are allowed to park overnight in public lots, but the city says otherwise. CBS 8's Shannon Handy is getting to the bottom of this and has reaction from those being ticketed, as well as the city's response.
This is a public parking lot near De Anza Cove. Some of the RV owners tell me they've been here for weeks without a problem. Then a few days ago, police started showing up.
This is my little oasis.
Rick, who asked us not to show his face, has called this RV home for 2 months. It's a new lifestyle for him, but one he's grown to love.
I lived on a boat for over 20 years in downtown San Diego and pretty much said I can't live on it no more. My only other option with the price of everything with rent is this RV.
Over the past 5 weeks, Rick has been staying in this public lot near De Anza Cove. Those signs here say no parking from 2 to 4 a.m. Rick assumed it was okay based on a recent settlement reached in a class action lawsuit between the city of San Diego and people who sleep in their cars and RVs that allows for vehicle habitation if you have nowhere else to go.
That's what made my decision, you know, and then just a few months later, the city is like, we're not having that. I don't know where to expect you to go.
A few days ago, Rick started getting tickets, one for $52.50 in violation of signs, and 2 others for $112.50 each for violating a city ordinance that restricts overnight parking of oversized vehicles without a permit. With those tickets, these flyers detailing the ordinance and a list of safe parking lots.
It's a bunch of hoopla. There's nothing ever available, almost like they want you just to disappear. Just like, you know what, we can't have you there, we can't have you there, we can't have you anywhere.
And it's not just Rick. I talked with others in the law who have been ticketed as well.
We're getting ticketed every single night. We didn't have that much money to begin with to scrounge up to get these RVs and stuff. And now they're ticketing us till we lose them.
I keep getting these tickets to where I can't really pay them.
I reached out to both the city and police. A city spokesperson said the recent crackdown is based on complaints from the public, saying police did educate people about the laws and offered services before writing tickets. A police captain said the same, adding there are other public lots with no overnight restrictions people can access. But the lead attorney in the class action lawsuit against the city told me while a judge still needs to sign off on the settlement, no one should be getting tickets right now. And if they are, those tickets should be forgiven.
Unless they have an option for parking immediately available to them.
Ann Menashe says she'll look into the issue. In the meantime, she has a website set up with information and a link to ask for ticket forgiveness, which you can find at cbs8.com.
My hope is that they would just leave us alone. People are just trying to live their life.
Shanna Handy, CBS 8.
Still ahead, the first interest rate cut in years. Still to come, we'll show you how the Fed's decision could affect your money. But first, a new version of the gift card scam, how a North County man was conned out of thousands of dollars. And wait until you see how authorities got involved. And don't forget, we want to look into the issues affecting you and your community. Email us at workingforyou@cbs8.com. An 84-year-old grandfather is speaking out about getting scammed to try and prevent this from happening to other people. He lost $12,000 in a gift card con. As CBS 8's David Gottfredson reports, it all began with a pop-up warning on his computer.
Stop. Your computer's been compromised.
Albert Gietzen is embarrassed he fell for a scam.
I was under a lot of stress at the time because of my cancer diagnosis and whatever, which may have made me more susceptible.
He got a pop-up on his computer, so he called the phone number, and the man on the line said his bank account had been hacked.
I was kind of in a panic, I guess, at that point because I couldn't afford to lose $12,000. I mean, that's a big chunk of my life savings.
It's called a gift card scam.
So I withdrew $12,000.
At the urging of the scammer on the phone, Albert purchased 12 $1,000 gift cards from the Home Depot on Vista Avenue in Oceanside.
I leave the store, and the guy says, okay, now that you're out of the store, go to your car. I want you to scratch off the back of each of these cards and read me the numbers.
Now here's where the story gets interesting. Albert was still on the phone with the con man when he unexpectedly got sideswiped by a car. 2 deputies responded and started asking him questions about who he was talking to on the phone.
He said, hang up the phone. Must be a scam.
The deputies escorted Albert into the nearest Home Depot on Melrose Drive in Vista. They told a customer service agent to cancel the gift cards. She assured them she did, and Albert was told he would be refunded his $12,000.
We had two deputies who were there at the counter inside Home Depot watching as my client was parading through 12 different gift certificate numbers.
Attorney Lendon Webb now represents Albert in a lawsuit against Home Depot because, you guessed it, the cards were not canceled and Home Depot was initially refusing to refund the money.
We had to file a suit. We filed it on September 3, saying, hey guys, you have some form of elder abuse here, some form of negligence, some form of theft or conversion.
But earlier this month, Albert met with CBS 8's Working For You team, and now we have some good news to report. One day after CBS 8 emailed Home Depot, the company responded and agreed to refund Albert's money.
I appreciate that CBS got involved, not only to help me get my refund, but also I think in the sort of the public awareness of the things that are going on with these scams.
Lesson learned: if you get an alert telling you to call a phone number, don't call. If you get a phone call, hang up and call the company's verified phone number yourself. And remember, if you need help, you can email us at workingforyou@cbs8.com. David Gottfredson, CBS 8.
Wow, what a story, David. Thanks. Home Depot emailed CBS 8 saying the company has prevention measures in place to combat illegal activity. So we posted their entire statement on our website. Go to cbs8.com. Still to come, the Fed cuts the interest rate. But what does that mean for you, where you may save some money and the potential downsides to the cut? Welcome back. We have a follow-up to a Working for You story in Mount Hope. Earlier this year, we told you about a church that lost its insurance coverage because a satellite image of its roof showed it in disrepair. Well, this week, we were back at the Gospel Center Church of God in Christ because it needs your help. Members of the church tell us for years they have been dealing with graffiti on the property. It's constantly getting tagged. Now a group of local artists are donating their time and talent to paint a mural on the church's wall that wraps around the property. The group is hoping to raise $5,000 so they can get it done. And if you can donate, we put a link to their GoFundMe on our website at cbs8.com. Working for your wallet, the Federal Reserve on Wednesday cut its benchmark interest rate by an unusually large half point. That's a shift after more than 2 years of higher rates to try to help tame inflation. But that also made borrowing more expensive. So how will this rate cut affect your wallet? CBS 8's Shannon Handy has the answers.
This half percentage point is called a jumbo cut and is double than what a lot of experts predicted. Now, overall, people will benefit by seeing lower interest rates on everything from auto loans to credit cards, even mortgages. But experts say it will take some time to really see a difference.
The U.S. economy is in good shape. It's growing at a solid pace. Inflation is coming down. The labor market is in a strong pace. We want to keep it there.
Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell explained the central bank's decision to cut interest rates by a half percentage point, marking the first cut since March of 2020. The move comes as inflation rates have dropped from 9.1% in 2022 to 2.5%. Experts say the drop will have a domino effect, making borrowing less expensive.
There's going to be some relief.
David Reyes is the founder of Reyes Financial Architecture. He says that relief will come in the form of cheaper rates on car loans and credit cards, though it may not be enough to make a big difference since rates right now are so high.
Credit card rates are always ridiculous. It's like call it gorilla math. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, it's 25, so it goes down from 30 to 25. Great. How about don't have credit card balances is a good rule of thumb.
What about mortgage rates? In anticipation of today's cut, they've been dropping steadily in recent months, hitting a 19-month low last week of 6.2% on 30-year fixed loans. The National Association of Realtors said today any further decline will be minimal, but for some, that could still create long-term savings.
Most people that have bought homes, a couple years ago, let's say before 2022, have rates in the 3 to 4% range, right? So you're not going to see this big refi boom. A lot of people that have bought homes, we have an employee that bought a home in the last year. She paid 7.5%. So for her, it's going to be perfect because she can refinance now 1% or maybe better.
Still, Reyes warns there are downsides to the Fed cut. Take certain savings accounts, for example.
If you have high interest fixed accounts like CDs, things like that, the negative is you're going to have lower interest rates and lower return on those investments for sure.
Reyes worries today's cut has more to do with concerns over unemployment and high interest rates regarding corporate loans than it does with having a strong economy, though Powell reiterated that's not the case. More cuts are anticipated this year, including another one in November. Working for you, I'm Shannon Handy for CBS 8.
Shannon, thank you. That's going to do it for us. Remember, if there is something that you would like us to look into, email us at workingforyou@cbs8.com. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.